Thank you.
I asked just this guy.
Okay.
He's on the list.
Okay.
And did you know what this one little public street that has the burn down house and family all this
Mm-mm.
place? Okay. Okay.
They didn't during public comment.
Okay. Very good.
Planning board.
The planning board has had two processes going on. One is creating a solar law, and the other is identifying people who would be interested in being on the steering committee for the comprehensive plan. So for the comprehensive plan process, we sent out 40 letters to business people and legislatures asking them if they were interested in being on this, being appointed to the steering committee. And we've also identified and approached about 20 other individuals in person, also asking them of their interests. So we should, our next meeting is next week, so we should be able to identify those people who are interested in bringing them forward to this body in your next meeting to appoint people who are interested that you feel are appropriate. The solar law, I have two questions. One, the solar law that's in the packet that you're going to vote on, is that the one that Attorney Kirsten Dunn sent back?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is a procedural one then. The planning board hasn't met in a public arena to look at the changes she made to decide if we're in approval of those.
Okay.
But you're the governing body, so if you don't feel we need to do that and you want to approve it without us looking at it, that's okay. That's your option.
I'd much prefer for you, since
I
you
would.
reviewed
Yeah.
it first, to have your input, and there's not a rush at all. So if you're meeting next week, if you have a chance to review it, we'll then introduce it next month.
Okay.
Does that work for you guys?
I would prefer it that way.
They've been working on it
They've been working
for
on it.
months.
They've got a
3
handle on
more
it.
weeks isn't gonna make any
Right.
difference. Because we're not gonna put up a solar farm between now and then.
We're the ones that put all the effort into this, so I
Okay.
think.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Do you make the motion to table that, or,
We haven't introduced it yet, so.
well, we'll do it now, it's on our agenda.
It doesn't, if nobody introduced it.
Okay.
And you'll just include in the minutes that. You don't have to include.
Well,
We're just
I'll
not
do it
doing
when
it.
we get
There's
to the
no action.
resolutions, I'll take and put it in there that the resolution for the solar is
Removed from it.
removed from the thing, yeah.
Isn't that the end of the move?
Board of Ethics. Bill and Paul.
Well, President, just talked with Councilman Vandenberg as I come in tonight. As you know, we're trying to rewrite the ethics rules. The Councilwoman Vandenberg informed me that he has turned it over to Attorney Dunn, and we're gonna wait for him to do this for us, and then we're gonna review it and go from there. As far as any business in this past month, everybody's been good little boys and girls. We don't have any business, which is good.
Great.
Can I just add something?
Go ahead, Bill.
A few months back, I mentioned to the town board that because I worked at Key Bank, they had certain procedures that were necessary for me to serve on the Board of Ethics. I've taken care of everything. My final piece of business is before the meeting, I gave to Linda an affidavit that basically outlined that I'm a Key Bank employee and other things, but it needs to be entered into the official transcript of tonight's meeting,
Okay,
and that'll complete what they required of me.
great. Can I have a copy of that? Or I
It's
just
in the
look at
office,
it?
I'll give you a copy of it afterwards.
So we just need to accept it?
We just need to accept.
I can give you
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
If you have to read it or whatever you want to do.
We appreciate the lengths
Thank
that
you.
you're going through this thing. I appreciate that,
Thank you
because,
very
you know,
much. Yeah.
some of us would have given up for.
Thank you.
Yeah, just, so for the record, we, the town council of the town of Palatine, have reviewed your affidavit stating that you're a member of the Board of Ethics with the town of Palatine, and also a KeyBank National Association employee, not an officer of, or employee of KeyCorp, that you own stock in KeyCorp, and that you are providing notice that you have association with Key Investment Services.
Thank you.
Anything else from the Board of Ethics? Okay. And Judge Steiger.
Do you want to give us an update on where we are year to date and that kind of stuff on that?
Okay, I have a couple things.
Okay, but let me just interrupt here. So what happened here? You invited the
I asked the
justice-
justice to come in because he had some stuff to go over, and I said, sure, come on in, I'd like to, and we can see where we're up to date on the justice stuff.
Okay, and do you want a regular spot on the monthly meeting, or is this just?
No, this is just because he sent me an email and asked me to come in to update him. Well, he didn't even tell me what the subject was.
Well, it's to update us on that, and we've been trying to find out about this $30,000 grant, if we're
Right.
gonna accept it or not, and we got you here so then we can get an answer.
All right, I called again and talked to the people at the court administration about the grant. They said if we're gonna use that money for renovations to this building, because that's not what the original grant was intended for, and that's not what the original application was for, then we need to apply for reallocation. So we would need estimates, bids, and the usual thing you do,
Mhm.
like I did for the
Yeah.
building. I did, square footage and drawings and all that. I talked to, I found out they had a free architect, so I called him back in October or November, and I came down and measured. He wanted measurements of all the rooms, all the doors, all the windows. I went and gave him all the information that he asked for. Took him forever to get back to me. He finally sent a plan, which, I sent him a plan of what the intention was of switching my office with Linda's office, putting a window in for Linda like she has there, putting a door in, putting a bench in, reconfiguring this room with I thought a wheelchair ramp would be coming in and making a right angle to go parallel with this wall. When he sent his proposal back, he recommended putting the ramp outside of that door, which I don't agree with, because there's not enough room.
Yeah, no.
Actually, there's plenty of room,
Cliff
but we can
said
do
no.
right that.
Cliff,
Cliff, where's Cliff?
He said they he did say, Cliff
said
did say that they've
they've
changed it, it's
they've
gotta be
changed
5 by
the
5.
rules on that, and it won't work. So
Yeah, he
But
said
I
he
can
didn't think
always-
it would work.
get the American Disabilities people here.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I need estimates.
Okay.
First of all, we have a plan, I guess, of what they want to do. It's in the drawings. But, you gotta have estimates, and in order to be fair with people giving you estimates and bids, they all have to be working off the same plan, I would say. And that's not really my, that's not my
No, we can take care
obligation
of
to do that.
Yeah.
And then I have to submit that, like I
Okay.
did before, to get the 30,000. Then, if they said if all the funds are not used for the renovation and there's leftover funds, then I would have to apply for another reallocation to use those funds for something else. And because it's been pending so long, the state auditors may be looking into why this didn't get used for what it was supposed to and why it's still laying there. And I spoke with the auditors when they were here. They were quizzing me about that, so I don't know where that went. But,
Okay.
so that's
Great.
pretty much all I have to report on that. Something else, as you know, my clerk has had various bouts with her health, and my wife has been volunteering to come in and help me with the computer aspect of the court. I'm not allowed to have her as a deputy clerk, or whatever you wanna call it, without getting approval. So she doesn't want the job as a clerk. I don't want her as a clerk. I want her as backup, because you never know when something, I don't know if Sue's gonna, right now, she's doing fine. But, if she has something happen again, it puts me way behind, and it's kind of a nightmare. So I had to apply. I sent a letter to the court administration. It had to go to the supervising judge Waite over in Saratoga, and I had to go to my supervisor in Albany, and then I had to go to the chief administrative judge. I finally got a letter this week saying that, yes, she can do that.
Okay.
So, but, yeah, I guess, in order for her to get, paid for doing that, she's been doing it for nothing. And, I would ask the board to approve, if and hopefully not, Sue is, disabled again, that she could get paid at the hourly rate that Sue does, just as a substitute when, when Sue's not able to be here. I don't know, I don't.
What's Sue's status right now?
Right now, she's walking with a cane. She has to walk. In fact, the last 2 court sessions that she's been here, she wears no shoes. And I go, well, where's your shoes? And she goes, well, I'm afraid I'm gonna fall. So one night I said, it's raining out. She says, well, she's in her bare feet. But if that's what she's gotta do, that's what she's gotta do.
Okay, so,
And I don't know what her prognosis is. I really don't know.
yeah,
I don't want to,
Right.
count her down and out, and
No, I
I'll be
don't wanna
fine.
do that at all.
yeah, so I have no problem with, and thank you for stepping in when you're needed. And I have no problem paying you for the work that you need, and I'll let
I
the
have
board
no issue
council
with that either.
people talk.
I certainly don't.
I think you should be compensated.
Yes,
Frankly,
I
we-
believe she should be compensated, I have no issue with it. And again, as I told Justice before, that between he and his clerk, I feel that's up to him.
And if it ever gets to the point where Sue just can't do the job anymore, then we go look for somebody else,
Yeah, I would just say, I want to caution, I want to make sure that Sue doesn't feel like her job is being infringed upon in any
Right.
way, and that she has,
Right.
that Jane, you're not taking hours that should have been
Right.
Sue's, it could get
Now, we've had that
tricky.
discussion.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, as
So
long
I
as-
would just say, make sure that there's a formal call-in, that Sue calls and says, hey, I can't make it.
Oh, she does
That's
that.
when you would
Yeah.
bring Jane in, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you can agree to that, I think that'd be,
That's what
and
we've been
thank you,
doing.
Okay.
thank you for that
Yeah.
Frankly,
volunteering.
we only have an advice and consent on who he picks anyway.
That's, yes,
For
It's
Jeremy.
mutual consent.
It's
Mutual,
mutual
well,
consent, so,
I-
I mean, sure, we give our consent and, sure.
I'll support that for sure.
Thank you.
Whatever you wanna do, Justice.
Because it is pretty difficult alone.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
So you'll just need to talk to Kelly or get,
Yeah.
she'll ask for some info.
Concerning this grant, would we be better off sending the grant back at this time, Justice? What's your feeling on that?
Honestly, they really don't want it back. And the reason for that is that every year, they go begging for more money to give out to the courts. I know a couple years ago, they got $1.2 million to give out to the courts. And the following year, they asked for 1.3 million, so every year they ask for more. And they said if that money goes back, they don't get to keep it, it goes to the general fund, and it looks bad for them to be sending that money back to the state, and it, doesn't look good when they apply for more the following year.
Okay.
So you don't have a problem if we do our due diligence and get you estimates to submit the reallocation? is what
Right,
you're
but
saying.
they also told me that we can't use that money to like put a window in for Linda, because that's not court.
Okay, that's fine.
It can only be used for court associated.
Of course.
Okay.
Right,
Could some of it possibly be used, Your Honor, to, say if you wanted up-to-date computer program, law book, something like that?
Yeah, they pretty much supply all, the computers are theirs anyway.
Oh, I see, I didn't understand that.
Yeah,
But,
that's, most of the
okay,
equipment is court administration.
so if in our bid, we got you some security cameras and security issues,
Yeah, I
that's,
mean.
that's
I
covered
can-
for the court, and you would like to have some of that, I'm sure, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, in that tiny room, it's kinda hard to.
Well, we're gonna move you,
Well,
so,
right.
Yeah.
so moving you out there, I'm sure
Right.
we'd like to have
Right,
something
then, yeah.
that no one attacks you, we have
Right.
something on record, and we have, looking out.
Right
to the
now, they
front.
gave me I mean, they have those scanner things you walk through, but they gave me, because of the way this is, they gave me a handheld
Handheld,
one, but I'm not
okay.
gonna
Yeah.
stand there.
So you're like a bouncer at a bar, you hit the
That's
one.
then you're the judge.
That's your job.
Okay,
Oh, wait a minute, I gotta scan you before you come in.
okay.
No, I don't feel that's your job.
So why don't the three of us meet, you, Neil, and I, we'll just do a check off list of, what we might be, applying for, and then gather the bids, submit it, and be done with
Right.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Chris has been working with this quite a bit. You rather Chris work with it, or you prefer that? It's up to you.
You know what, you guys can, Neil, you've been working on all the construction bids.
You know,
We'll
just
talk
don't
about
wanna
it.
step on anybody's
No,
toes,
you know
what I'm
what?
saying, Chris.
He's got the plan, except he would like to change the doorway based upon the new ADA
Okay.
law. So we could get some quick bids. It's gonna be an easy plan, it's gonna use not a lot of money, and we can get it done.
Okay.
I mean, let's see if we can get it done and just get this thing, for his safety, let's get him out here, let's get some surveillance equipment, and let's
Right.
get some stuff done, and let's be done with this,
Okay.
because
All right.
frankly, look, if this proposal goes through, he'll have a new courthouse in maybe 2-3 years anyway, so this is
Yeah,
a
or whatever
temporary
that time
solution,
period may
so.
be.
2, 3, 10.
Yeah, God only
By the
knows.
time that gets done, I'll be gone.
We may all be
Or
gone by that
dead.
time, I'm afraid,
Well,
but hopefully not.
okay.
Can you meet, Thursday morning, July 6th?
Yeah, it could, we're gonna be out of town a little, but I can come in.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Don't
How
do
about the
that.
next week?
Yeah.
The next
following
week you're
week's
on?
fine,
Okay,
yeah.
how about, July 11th at 8:30?
Okay. What time?
July 11th at 8:30 a.m.?
Yep,
Want to do it over at Stewart's or here?
I'd rather do it here.
Here.
Because if we need information, I can run in and get it.
Yeah, okay. Great, thank you.
Hey, one more question while I got you.
Sure.
On records, how many times do you go to the trailer looking for records on an average month?
I got most everything in there, but there is, like, I had 2 calls this week. One from a fella in Texas that was trying to get his driver's license, and it came up that he was suspended from back in 1983. And, I had to go looking for that because they wouldn't let, he said he had applied for his driver's license 2 other times in Texas and got it no problem. But this time when he went to get his driver's license, it popped up that he owed us $200 from a ticket, back in '83 or whatever. So I could not find that ticket, and it was, I searched quite a while. So then I had to call motor vehicles and fill out a special form to, I don't know where the ticket is.
So I guess the short answer is not so often.
Right. Then I had another lady from the year 2000 that was trying to get her nursing. I think, she was applying for a job, and it came up that there was a warrant. She was doing, they were doing a search of her record, and a warrant popped up. So I have to go looking for that. It's almost every week that you got to go dig in the old records to find something before the computer. If it's on the computer.
So
It's
I
not
guess the
fun.
question I want to ask is, if the records were someplace very close, but offsite in a secure area that was dry, and you were able to thumb through them, is that a hardship, or is that?
Well, it's not easy when you
There's not that many. It's a small space, like the court records. What's in there? It's
I've
not a
got
huge
everything
amount of
stacked up
space.
to the ceiling in
Well,
there.
You have a ton of stuff in there, but
Well,
Well,
what's
the
out
whole
there
wall,
is
the whole
not.
wall on the back, that whole wall on that side is court
Right,
records.
a lot
The
of
whole wall is
Morrison's
from the floor to
records
the ceiling is all
And some
court.
of Paul Burke's records
Yeah.
before me.
That's all
there.
court on that one whole side.
Yeah, it's not too often I gotta dig into that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
So that's it for report. Okay, moving on to supervisor remarks. I have here based on conversations with Artie, research on, what the going practice is in terms of, equipment, machinery, replacement. The state makes, recommendations. I have a 10-year plan, capital plan proposal for the highway department. I'm not proposing that we would approve this tonight. I just want to have it in front of you for next month. This comes from two things. One is just smart budgeting. We need to, the highway is by far the most expensive portion of our budget. The equipment purchase has always been, I think, overly politicized, when really there's a way that things should be done. There's an efficient way to make sure that we're purchasing equipment and replacing it before it loses too much value. Sometimes in the case of, like plow trucks, you're not getting much value back from them. But the state recommends that you replace, I think it's every 16 years. This plan isn't every 18 years.
I'm not sure.
Something, Artie's not here, so, we extend it a little farther. Other just past experience, like our loader that we got this year, we were able to only spend $10,000 on it because we had a high, trade-in value. Similarly with the pickup truck, if we trade it in fairly regularly, we can get a high trade-in value and a low price point. So this is where we end. Because we have, politicized the purchase of equipment, it gets put off. It gets, I think, not really evaluated based on what's really smart budgeting. And so now we're in a place where we need to play catch up. So the first couple of years here are, the first few years here, we would spend more than what we would over the next 20 or 30. Basically, we're gonna catch up, and then if we stay on the calendar, we save. Artie's not here, so he could give you some of his thinking.
We've talked back and forth. I think both Neil and I have talked to Artie back and forth, so we have some ideas. We're really close on what we think and what Artie thinks, so I think we can come up with something. I think it's the overall plan in the out years to try to reduce costs that we really need to.
What do you mean, like what?
What is an out year?
Well, I'm saying like, okay, so this plan goes to like 2022, okay?
Yeah.
So
It
there's
goes
a
to 2026.
2026, but I'm giving you 2022 for a reason. Maybe we don't need to carry, depending on what happens with consolidations in the towns and everything, maybe this plan will be, we should have a contingency that if we do consolidate with, say, the village or the villages, or they just bought a brand new 1-ton pickup with a stainless steel plow and box, okay? They don't even plow the road in the village, but they have a brand new truck. So we would, they did, right? Did you hear they did?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe we work that into our equipment, or maybe we,
Point of personal privilege, I guess. John, do they plan to do anything with highway departments insofar as you're aware of it?
Insofar as I am aware, it is not under consideration in this phase.
they may
And
talk.
as far as I'm aware, I haven't heard much about highway, but when I do hear it from the county, they're actually talking about more of a decentralization process than a centralization process.
Right, they actually want to get rid of county highway
tell it to the towns.
What?
a lot of thought processes.
Let's not. go
But
there.
let's not go there right now, okay?
That's like
We
the
have to cross
that's
that
like the
bridge.
rebound. Don't
You know?
go there.
So,